All right, it is college graduation season, busy time for so many families, and there's new grads that are facing this challenging job market as they juggle with these big student loans as well.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger joins us live now with some financial advice for graduates entering the workforce. Jill, I actually have one of them. She's about to graduate. She's still looking for a job. So what's the latest on the labor market jobs for young grads?
Oof. Well, she's not alone. When you look at the labor reports over the last few months, we see decent job creation. In fact, this year we're averaging 76,000 jobs per month. The unemployment rate is 4.3%. But as your daughter is finding out, and a lot of new grads are looking, the number of junior level job postings has been trending lower. And that is putting a lot of pressure on these new graduates. We had a Gallup poll earlier this week that showed a lot of pessimism when it comes to the labor market. And when Monster surveyed both recent graduates and soon-to-be graduates, about 2/3 said they would trade higher pay for long-term stability. Now, this is very odd. We don't usually see the word stability when we're talking about young workers. In fact, job security has now edged out career growth as more important to these young workers.
Yeah, that is an interesting change there for sure. We do know about 60% of grads have federal student loans. So what is your advice to them about repayment options as they try to navigate, especially if they aren't getting a big job anytime soon that's going to pay them enough?
Yeah, absolutely. There have been a lot of changes to the federal program, so you definitely want to start by logging into studentaid.gov. That's the federal portal for student loans. You want to determine the amount of money you owe, the interest rate associated with your loan, and the payment terms. Now, your first bill does not start until 6 months after you graduate, but just know during this grace period, the government will pay interest on subsidized loans, but not unsubsidized ones. Now, if you can't make your monthly payment, maybe you don't have a job yet or your job is not paying enough, you may want to consider an income-based plan. There's a new plan that's called the Repayment Assistance Plan. This will reduce the monthly amount you pay, but, in exchange for that, you're going to have a longer period of time where you're going to repay that loan. Regardless of what you choose, please automate your payments so you never miss a month.
Fortunately, many grads will be starting new jobs as well. Congrats to them. So what should they know about selecting the right benefits for them?
Even if you've got a health care option through your new employer, it might be cheaper to stay on your parents' health care plan, so just check out the cost. Remember, you can stay on your parents' plan until age 26. If you do choose your employer insurance, you may want to consider a high deductible plan. That can be a lot more affordable. Now, I know retirement not high on the list of things you should care about when you're 21, 22 years old, but even if you have student loans, try to contribute at least up to a company match if there is one. Don't leave that money on the table. And use the Roth option when it comes to retirement plans. Paying taxes up front on your contributions right now while you're in a low tax bracket, that is going to pay big dividends in the future.
Jill, I wish you would have seen Dana's reaction when you talked about the kids staying on their parents' health insurance. So basically, this is very timely and needed. Jill, good advice. We always appreciate you. I know, right? She's like, sorry, I had to say it. I'm just saying. All right, Jill, thank you. And if you want to hear more from Jill about lots of different money topics, she is on CBS Mornings quite often, so you can see her there. Thanks, Jill.